So, a few episodes back, I was making or trying to learn how to make nets for fishing and transport. And before I started, I just bought a big roll of already made linen twine. I think it was 200 meters or something. And it's really easy just to pick up, order this, pick it up, buy it. It doesn't cost a lot for a roll like that. But it made me realize that maybe we're taking rope and string and cordage and all these things for granted. I just thought to myself after making the net, what if learning to make a net didn't start with the knotting and the shuttle and all those things, the gauge stick? What if it started by actually harvesting the fibers and turning them into cord? That's why today I'm making cordage from stinging nettle fibers. I have to say though that we do not have any source from the Viking Age of stinging nettle cordage. We do have some finds from, I believe, Birka in Sweden that initially was analyzed to be textile made from nettle fibers. But later studies have shown that they were in fact made from hemp. But the stinging nettle was here in the Viking Age, and the fibers of the stinging nettle has been in use in the Roman times, for example, and later up. So I think it is a plausible solution for a quick on-the-go cordage that can be harvested and made very easy almost everywhere, because stinging nettle grows everywhere, even around my small cabin here. It is a fairly easy process just to cut or pluck or pick some stinging nettles. I use a pair of gloves, reconstruction of the leather mittens from Novgorod in modern day Russia to protect my hands. And then you just rip the leaves and all the stinging needles off the stems. You saw me beating the stems gently to break down the cell membranes or the dividers up through the stem. Split them open and break off and peel these long, fine hair-like strands of the inner bark. I believe it is. It is fairly easy, and I know that you're supposed to. I have heard that they are supposed to be dry just a few hours to get some moisture out of it. It might make the twine a bit brittle or crisp as it dries up with the moist inside the fibers while the cord is being made. I just don't have that patience right now, and I actually did an experiment the other day with a small piece of rope made from fresh harvested nettle fibers like we're doing today, and I don't know, I think it's very strong anyway. This is just a simple 2-ply cord where I twist the fibers, twist again, roll it over, twist again, roll it over, as you see here. And this is quite meditative, just to sit here. And every time one of the strands are getting thin, you just simply add in more fiber, pinch it nicely together, and keep twisting and folding over. And just in about, I think I've been doing this for 20 minutes, 15 minutes, and I have about 50 centimeters of twine already. And I do know that there's a long way to several hundred yards to make large fishing nets, and I'm not going to make all my cordage from scratch here. But sometimes I think it's very nice you can have an idea of how time-consuming or resource driven a certain craft is. Like I had the idea that to start making nets from scratch by making cordage would be a really time-consuming job, and but to have that idea doesn't really give me anything. I need to try this now. Over the last few days, I've made maybe 4 or 5 meters of twine or line here, and I can feel it in my hands. I can feel it in my mind, and I go from having an idea to having more of an understanding. I don't have the reality of it yet, and I don't think I ever will, but I have a better understanding if I try these things out myself. I often talk about how learning a craft or doing craft, even simple crafts like this, learning a simple skill like this can be very transformative. One thing is that your hands and your muscles, your body learns a practical movement, or there's some muscle memory. But I believe that while doing this, the relation you get to the material, to the stinging nettles around you in this incident here, to the materials and yeah, I believe you tap into something deeper. You tap into a tradition, to a culture, and you tap into nature while doing these things, where most of the materials are natural and can be harvested right around you. I'm not saying this is some kind of profound epiphany, but I do believe even on a small scale like this that it can be quite transformative to learn, pick up and do these small, simple things here. And there's absolutely no doubt that rope and cordage and thread and these things were very important in the Viking Age for various reasons. We know that the Vikings had many different ways of making rope. There was, of course, the inner bark of the linden bast, the linden tree, the linden bast rope. They were using various natural fibers. Animal sinews as well can be broken down into long, thin strands that can be plied together, like I'm doing here with the nettles. And of course, rawhide were rolled up, cut into long strips, and were very effective and durable on the boats, in the sailing, in the maritime culture. So plenty of ways to produce and obtain rope or cordage. This night there was a very big thunderstorm with a lot of rain. This area is so damp right now, and with the heat we're having these days, this area just became alive with mosquitoes, and I was really bothered by them earlier on this morning. But then I remembered in the small pouch I have in my belt, I have small lumps of resin, hard resin, and I find that if you take an ember from the fire into a small container and lay small pieces of resin on top, not only does it smell fantastic, but that smell is very perfumated and scented. There's oils burning off, and the mosquitoes doesn't like it. So this works very well just around me. It works even better inside a cabin, but even out here, just next to me. It actually works quite well, and I could feel as the embers were dying out that the mosquitoes were coming back. So I had to once in a while refill it. The small lumps of resin lasts very long. They easily outlast the charcoals, and that's just a little trick to pass on. You can try it out if you'd like. I am hoping to be making some thicker cordage from the nettle fibers to hold a fishing net that I'm working on. I hope later this year I'll be able to try and do some historical fishing, trying out some archaeological reproductions of various fishing gear, and I've been working on a large net that I will need to have a guide rope or whatever in the top, where I can attach floaters, and as well a guide rope in the bottom of the net where I can attach sinkers or weights or whatever. So I hope we'll be getting back at some point and see some of this nettle fiber cordage in use.